learning to lose. I'm learning to lose.
What's up?
What up, dog?
How those levels sound, sus?
Sound fucking sus fantastic.
All right, this is podcast number 2 with Patrick Ridge and
Wikum Silva. We got Pete on camera today.
yeah, it was
a good day.
We
It's
had
a
some
good
technical
podcast.
difficulties.
Yeah, Pat forgot some gear. It's all good. We know.
I
Me and
mean-
Sus prevailed. We came through.
We're just getting it done. We're getting it done. We got 2 Shure mics. We're in my fucking living room. We got the Tascam, which is being replaced by a sound card very soon. We tried to film the first one. Well, the first one we didn't even fucking record. We had a great conversation. We didn't even fucking record
Absolutely
it.
amazing.
It was devastating.
And then we tried to recreate it the next one, and just like wasn't the same. And like, but it's okay.
Well,
we got.
So you say.
We got like fucking. We got a good setup now.
But Wickum's girlfriend just called him and was like, "Where are you at?" Because it's 12:30 a.m. Pete just showed up from filming a wedding.
What's the Wi-Fi?
The Wi-Fi is Ridge Satan 666. So in case anyone ever comes to my house, which probably every single person listening to all 20
The whole world.
probably all 20 of you that are listening to this have been to my house or are going to come to my house again. And another really cool thing about this is we can literally just do podcasts in this living room with whatever guest happens to be here at the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the cool things about this, because we're always having engaging conversations in this house about interesting things. But Wickham's girlfriend called and I said, it's always better to be busy than, which this is kind of funny because she'll probably listen to this, but it's all
She's
good.
not. If I tell her it's about her, she'll listen to it.
Yeah, it's always better to be like busy and like and pursuing your dreams, and then the dude calling the girl going, "When are you gonna be home?" Or "I miss you," which basically is how I've actually low-key been sounding a lot lately, because I have set up my life in a way where I can spend time with Veronica. And for the first 5 years of the first 7 years of our relationship, I was on the road with Hypercrush a lot, and like I was like literally told her, "You come second." Like whatever.
You told her that?
straight up.
How did she take that?
She was like, "I get it."
Whoa.
It was like, I'm winning.
Well, Jesse's she's supportive of it.
But you shouldn't say that.
Well, I didn't say that. But we'll have time set apart for us, and I'll get kind of carried away on I'll just get on Final Cut and start editing something.
Yeah.
And she won't say anything, and then she'll start working on stuff, and then I'll be like, "Why are you working on stuff? This is our time." And she's like,
Right.
"Well, you started working on something, so I did." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Why don't you just tell me to stop?" And she's like, "I don't ever want to tell you to stop."
That's really fucking dope, and I think that's important to value each other and respect each other's dreams and stuff, but it's not good to shit on your partner the way I did for a long time, because she became resentful and there's been a lot of well, now it's my turn, motherfucker,
Yeah.
and I'm getting my, and it's
Some pent up resentment.
I don't know. It's yeah, but it wasn't just about being on the road and recording music all the time, and it was more about my mindset. I need to get it. I need to win, or else I'm shit.
Yeah.
My success is directly related to my who I am as a man, which is insane. And I think that's always going to be a recipe for disaster and failure.
Yeah, I mean, I base a lot of my self-esteem and self-image on that.
I'm sure you do.
And it's
most men do. Our culture has, set that up. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's my thing in a way. And it's if I don't have that, I'm not, I don't know, And then
Yeah.
and then if you do fail, which is inevitable, then what do you do? If your whole identity is based around success.
Well, let me ask you a better question. What happens when you win? Are you?
It feels good for a little bit, and then you just go back.
Okay,
to
so
just how you felt before.
you just posed the question: if I fail, what do I do? Right? Okay, well, let's play this tape out. Let's say you win. What do you do then?
It never like I'm never like, wow, I've arrived. It's like, what do I do next?
And not
it's
only
like,
that,
what's next?
not only that, but like the more you get, the more responsibility comes. More money, more problems. That's that fucking, you know, that Biggie song. I mean, it's fucking true. It's like the more you get, the more busy you are, the more responsibility. It's like, you know, those dudes that own those big yachts. Well, not that we know anyone, but like, you know, you see these crazy yachts and you're like, oh my God, if I just fucking could have that yacht,
then I'll be okay.
Okay, but the dude that like owns that yacht is like literally on the yacht, like making deals on the phone, or he never gets to go on the yacht because he's so fucking busy all the time. It's like Jordan Peterson talks about, like these guys, they're not like sitting back on a fucking lounge chair with a cigar in their mouth. Like they're like working all the time.
You know about the $75,000 rule? Mm-mm. It's that there's a line graph where it's on one side it's how much money you make a year and how happy you are, and it starts at like low, like 30, like 20, 10, and then it goes up, and then it peaks at about $70,000, $75,000, and after that 80,000, 90,000, it just drops. 100,000, 200,000 just drops.
So basically, like, if you're making like 70 grand a year, you're like, you have enough time to be happy.
Yeah. But it's the perfect balance between responsibilities and money.
But like nobody that's making more than that has enough time to be happy because they're just like grinding all the fucking time trying to win.
Yeah. Cause then you have,
Pete just chimed in. Yeah. And that's why, like, you know, like having a chill little spot with like a person you love and like a job that you like, enjoy to do, whether that's fucking ride horses or, I mean, maybe you like digging trenches, maybe you like installing lights like my brother. Maybe you can find passion and love in anything you do. If you can do that, obviously you fucking.
So then what's behind this need to be great that you and I both struggle with?
Well, I think it's insecurity for one, right? And it has a lot to do with our dads because they probably were afraid that we weren't going to win. So they put a lot of pressure on us because they didn't want us to struggle the way they did. And then in turn by them, like being so afraid of us not succeeding, like we have this like deep down like feeling of like we're never going to be good enough because they just wanted to like take care. It's all about insecurity and like, isn't that that's funny?
No, you're totally right. Cause like,
I actually just kind of like had that epiphany like right now.
What?
That my dad was probably afraid I wasn't going to succeed. And that's why he pushed me as hard as he did. Because he just wanted me to have a good life, but didn't realize that by pushing me so hard, that would cause me to have this like deep-seated insecurity and like feeling of not being good enough, which kind of fucks me up. It's like a balance, right?
Yeah, I mean, I relate because I'm first generation Sri Lankan, so my parents are from a third world country, right? So they came here to like give me a good life, you know?
Yeah.
Like fucking engineer, doctor, whatever. And like the first time I told them I'm going to film school, they're like, what? You know? But then they like they saw that I like had something.
Good luck. Then, you're never gonna fucking make it.
Exactly. And they were like so disappointed. And then, but now they're like my biggest fans. So they kind of grew. But that doesn't take away the pressure that they put on me as a kid. You know what I mean? To be that one, you know? And like, I think that pressure still lingers in me, and that might be what's behind this need to be great.
Yeah, plus our society and our culture doesn't help it, or any of the fucking rappers you listen to. But I don't want to forget this thought I just had, which is that being a videographer or like making films nowadays isn't what it was back then. It's a lot more feasible to make money doing it because of the oversaturation of independent businesses and their need for content, which is which is directly related to how me and Tim, a couple of knuckleheads, were able to start a video production company and actually be semi-successful doing it, considering how reckless we are.
Have you ever heard, so I heard this story about Tiger Woods it was about like validation and like this need that like athletes and like the biggest greats in the like icons in music, movies, wherever have. And it was this psychologist, he was talking about like men's need for validation and that like men cheat in their relationships for validation and women cheat because of neglect. And he was talking about Tiger Woods, and he said that, so Tiger Woods was a little kid and his dad was like the one who got him into golf and was pushing him. And pretty much when you're trying to make your son a great like that, what you're telling him is like, if you could hit this stick and to hit this ball with this stick into that hole really good, then you'll be okay, right? And then so Tiger Woods spent his whole life like hitting the ball into the hole, right? And like, I'm gonna be good, then I'll be okay. And he became one of the best golfers of all time, right? Mm-hmm. But what his father failed to do was that when you tell him that once he hits the ball into the hole, then you'll be okay, what you're telling him is that he's not okay now.
Right.
So then he never learns how to be okay now.
Yeah.
Which is, and he'll never know.
Yeah.
Because now, and then he was talking about how like all his mistresses were blue eyes, blonde hair, just like his wife. They all looked exactly the fucking same. And it was this validation that like, because he can never give it to himself because he was never taught how to give it to himself.
So basically tell your kids that they're okay even if they fail.
Yeah. I mean,
but then that kind of is reinforcing this idea of like a participation trophy, which is not good either, because like learning to lose is important too, and knowing that you lost. And
I mean, I don't know what this fucking, like these old people are always talking about millennial. Okay, first of all, I'm not millennial, I'm Gen Z, but they're always talking about millennials and the participation trophies. Me and neither of my friends, when we got participation trophies, were like, dope, we got our participation trophy.
Right.
We were all like,
yeah, I don't
dude,
really
this
know.
is bad. Like, this sucks.
Yeah, Simon Sinek.
It was almost worse than getting nothing.
Yeah, Simon Sinek talks about that. That was that millennial thing that I was. He has a lot of really good points in that talk, but yeah, that participation trophy one is not one that I identify with, and I don't really know what he's talking about when he references that. But I do think that there is a problem with like oversensitivity in like young kids, and like just like instant validation, because we get it from the phone. And he was talking about like how the phone is like, it's a drug and it releases dopamine when you get likes, and you can swipe left, swipe right, you can order shit right away, you get what you want right away, and we're used to that, which diminishes like the importance of like having FaceTime with people. And like kids are more afraid to like confront other people, and like they can hide behind.
I understand, but Gary Vee talks about that, and he's like he's talking about these parents who are mad at their kids for being on their iPads all day, and they want them to go outside. And then Gary Vee's just like, what the fuck world do you think your kids are going to be in? Where they're going to be outside playing with fucking sticks?
Yeah, it's a
different world, man.
It is, and there are pros and cons to all of it. Like it's not all bad or all good.
And like sensitivity wise, like, yeah, I mean, I don't condone oversensitivity, but I feel like sensitivity, quote unquote, is a byproduct of a more aware generation. Like, we're more aware of our feelings and how we feel, right? Like, you were talking about how like you felt like a bitch telling your girl, oh, I love you, I miss you. And I don't know about I can't speak for anyone in my generation, but like, I don't feel demasculated saying those things.
That's dope, and that's a good thing. And I think it is important on some level for people to be sensitive. And I don't consider it like Gus once. Like one time we were in this like group text about like a movie thing, and like Gus was like, "You're so sensitive," and like I like low key brought that up to my therapist, and he was like, "Dude, what's wrong with being sensitive?"
Yeah. And
I literally I didn't have an answer as to what was wrong with that. And then I was listening to a podcast with Gabor Mate and Joe Rogan, and Gabor Mate was talking about how artists are oversensitive, and that's what makes, or they're very sensitive, not I mean, there's no such thing as like a perfect amount of sensitivity, but that's what makes artists good at art.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is a positive. But, you know, when you hold on to shit for too long and everything is just
I mean, you can go.
Sometimes
You
there's
could go too far.
Yeah, and
I feel like a
do.
lot of people, younger people, go a little bit too far with the sensitivity. You know, like taking offense to like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, or like just getting offended off of shit that like you shouldn't be offended by. You know what I mean? And like taking it too far and like it affecting your whole identity because someone said this. Like that's too much.
Yeah. So there was a Florida. There was another shooting today.
What?
In Florida.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. I just heard about it. We were at Veronica's parents' house, and Veronica's dad, the Russian, was drinking while he was talking about how there was another shooting today.
How many people died?
I don't know. I feel like retarded not even knowing about this, but there was a shooting that happened today. In Australia.
7 dead.
7 dead.
Wow. So it wasn't in America.
Australia's worst shooting since 1990.
Wait. Hold up.
Australia's worst shooting since 1996.
Australia's worst shooting since 1996 leaves 7 dead. In Perth, Australia.
How old was the kid who killed him?
I didn't know it was a kid.
Oh, wait, no.
So this type of shit.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the school shooting situation? Like,
Well, I mean, first of all, I just want to make sure that like, and this might sound really stupid, but like this type of shit that's happening, like this wasn't happening 50 years ago.
It's a new thing.
This is a new thing.
What do you think it is? Like, why?
Well, I mean, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and there's been a lot of, speculation about like what we're talking about, oversensitivity and overprescribing meds, which is something that we were talking about last time. Why antidepressants are important, but then also there's another side of it that's like, if you go to the doctor, they just like are immediately handing out a medical solution to like what could possibly be a physical or like something that could be like, I think always exhaust.
Like you could fix it. Like you could fix their circumstances and help them rather than just throw pills at them.
Yeah. So if you're fixing all your problems with a pill, at what point are you not going to be able to cope with anything? And then it's like Joe talks about, killing a bunch of people is literally like flipping a board game.
It's flipping.
It wasn't out of school.
It wasn't out of school.
It wasn't out of school. It was found in someone's home. But a family of 7, including 4 children, was found dead with gunshot wounds Friday at a rural property in southwest Australia, in what could be the country's worst shooting in 22 years.
So it's happening in Australia too. I mean, no, you're good.
I think it's I think I agree. It's flipping the monopoly board. I think it's a societal sickness, and I mean, I feel like no matter how many times these shootings happen, I feel like bullying is a big part of it, dude. And like I feel like no matter how many, maybe now it's changed since I've been in high school, but shootings were going on when I was in high school. And I knew this one kid. I knew a couple kids, like we just fucking bagged on them hard, dude. Like I felt bad for them and I participated in it, dude. It's just like fucked up, and we've all done it.
It's almost like you're getting bullied into bullying.
Yeah, like if you don't bully them, you're not cool.
Yeah.
And if you don't bully them, then there's a risk that you'll be bullied. Like it's just, it sucks. Like bullying is a fucking problem.
Yeah, it's a weakness, and it's a sign of insecurity, and that you would be bullying or get sucked into bullying. I remember I would always be like the dude that would want to go against the grain and like stand up for that person, and really like not give a fuck if I was the person getting bullied. Like, I don't know. It's definitely some bitch ass shit, and people are incapable of like,
I think that's what we should look at, like this is like,
like why people
like that's the problem is bullying.
It's like we feel the need to
You feel better about yourself when you bully someone. That's what it is.
Yeah, but it's also like just this weird thing about like teaming up and just like it's almost like a social awkwardness that you can't deal with. So you just like, I don't know. It's like when people feel the need to say something negative or talk shit, like because it's like I got this information. Like, why is it gossip so popular? Like, it's like you have information that like someone else might want to know, or like you feel
like you're the guy. Like I'm the guy with all the information, all the dirt on everything.
Yeah, and you feel special because you have information that someone else might want to know, and you can't just have a conversation about something positive. Yeah, I think this would be a good question for Jordan Peterson. Although they have talked a lot about this type of shit, and I feel like there's not a lot of talk about like what it is about the actual bullying, not the person getting bullied and how that affects them, but why do people want to talk shit or team up with each other and like pick on someone? And then why would it be hard for someone to go against the grain and like stand up for that one person?
Yeah.
That I guess makes sense. It's because they don't want to be like the outsider or like go against people.
Yeah. I feel I found one of the kids that we used to bully in high school's Instagram. And I go on it, he's just like an innocent like dude. Like you know what I mean? He's just like a harmless fucking guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything to hurt anyone. You know what I mean? He's not even resentful about it. He's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know.
And it just makes me feel so bad. I'm just like, why the fuck did we do that?
Yeah. One thing I've actually been trying to like be more conscious of is like definitely not talking badly about anyone else. And that's actually something Tim's really good at. That's one of the reasons that I love him. And Veronica too. Like she like, I don't know. I think that's a really great quality to have, like to not
Talk
speak
shit.
negatively about other people. And to take that even further, it's like just to not be negative about anything, because there's always two ways of looking at things, right? Like, first of all, any negative experience can be seen as an opportunity for growth. And also, there's an equal amount of positive things to look at as there are negative things. I just think that for so long, I've been drawn to the negative and the darkness, which would explain why I have like, you know, satanic images in my house and like, yeah, that's you know, death metal art and upside down crosses and like punk rock and a picture of Danzig over there. And it's like, I've just always been drawn to like dark, like Skeletor.
Is that true, Pete?
Dude, me and Pete both. It was Metallica, Alice in Chains, Nirvana. I mean, I didn't like He-Man. I liked Skeletor. I always liked the villain. I don't know. That's just, but changing that can actually cause you pain.
But I feel like you're like a positive person though.
Well, this is the new character that I've been trying to build, because that dark character didn't serve me, and it caused me to bottom out and end up in fucking rehab.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel it.
It's like, you know, it's like Yoda. It's like that's why I love Star Wars so much, because like that analogy of like the darkness and like the light, like the dark side is very enticing and it can be super powerful, and like you can get a lot out of that. But the Force, like Yoda talks about, like that positive energy, it's a little bit harder to go that way, but it always will win. You know, the light will always win. It's always going to be more powerful. And like, you know, like Kanye says, love conquers all. That's not a Kanye quote, but he was saying it in that last, and it kind of sounds corny, but like shit, I know from firsthand experience. Like,
So have you ever been bullied?
actually, yeah, the other night I was riding my motorcycle behind my high school. I don't know if you saw that on my story.
I did.
It was sometimes I like to just cruise
I
by.
know, I've noticed.
Agora High School and like reminisce. And I remember like, yeah, for sure, because I was a person in high school that people felt threatened
I thought
by.
you were cool.
No, I for sure was, and that's why certain people fucked with me. Like Ryan Dennis threw a rock through my window. Keith,
So you were
like,
cool and bullied simultaneously.
yeah, like even Aaron, like fucking, you know, he
But was that like
tried.
homie? Like
no, that was like him like fucking with me, prank calling me, trying to bully me, and like. But the thing is I would just always be confused, like why is Mike Krim prank calling me? Why is Keith like breaking into my house trying to like steal my weed? Like why are these people throwing rocks through my windows? Like why are they like I didn't understand like why they didn't like me. And it was fucked up. But I always had like a lot of friends.
What about like you were a kid? Because I feel like that's where it starts.
Was it physical, verbal, or relational bullying?
I don't know. I mean, I was in a body cast in 3rd grade in a wheelchair, and like my brother had to like take me to the bathroom. Like it was a fucked up, like really fucked up traumatic experience. So like I think that I had a lot of insecurities around like being in a body cast, and then like I had braces on and I walked like Forrest Gump for 6 months, and it was like a whole thing. But I don't really remember people bullying me, although they did have the opportunity to, because I don't know.
Yeah, I've had some experiences of being the bully and then also being bullied. Like in elementary school, in like the 4th grade, it got to the point where I didn't want to go to school anymore.
Wow.
From one of my friends, right? And then in like high school, when I started to delve into like drugs and alcohol and stuff, I was starting to realize that I had a problem with drugs and alcohol, and I would usually make an ass out of myself in public, you know? And
An ass of yourself?
yeah. And like, so I would get like bullied too in high school too. Like I for sure was not cool in high school,
Was it more in high school or in middle school?
probably, it was for sure more in middle school. It was pretty gnarly in middle school, but in high school, yeah, I was not cool. I was like, before I started getting drugs and alcohol, I was fine. Like I got along with everyone. I was like class clown, and like then I started getting drugs and alcohol, and people didn't even know I went to the school anymore. I totally changed as a person, like completely, like couldn't function, and I ended up getting expelled, and I finished at a continuation school, and then I got sober, and then I went to college, and I was completely different by the time I was in college. I like had sobriety and the 12 steps, and I was like different, and I was like, and then I started like a career, and then like I worked at Ridge, and now I'm like people see my stories, and I'm like doing shit on sets, and now the same people from high school are like watching the stories. I don't even follow them, right? And there's like a part of me that like wants to impress them still,
For sure.
and like still like now guys, look at me, I'm cool now.
Yeah,
you know?
stay away from that.
I know, and it's like it's kind of some fucked up shit, man, because it's like, yeah, like, and like I still want the validation from these people.
Yeah, I hear you.
So you guys use the alcohol and drugs to seek validation from people, so you can like.
I feel like I've been seeking validation from people before, after, and during.
Yeah, that I never used drugs and alcohol to seek validation. I just did drugs because they made me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone has a different story.
And then it stops to make you feel good after a certain time.
Yeah, I mean, that shit only for an alcoholic, that shit only works for as long as it works, and then it starts to take a toll. What's that saying?
It works till it doesn't.
The party. It's a party until it's not a party anymore or something.
Yeah, but
It's fun until it's not fun.
I feel like if my little like taste of bullying, I can understand why someone would shoot up a school. I'm not saying I would, and I never have thought of doing that, but like,
Wait, you're
I can
saying
understand. I can understand being ostracized. Like when you're in high school, you're in like a mini society.
You're saying your taste of from being bullied.
Yeah.
You could understand why someone would be so
man.
fucking mad that
Yeah,
they would.
dude.
Yeah.
People are fucking dicks.
Yeah,
like
100%.
especially in high school, dude. Like it's like being ostracized from like
Yeah.
a society like that. Like it's rough.
Yeah, it's
You know
not
what I mean?
just being bullied though. You know, it's like feeling like you could never win, the overwhelming feeling of life and school and like picking a career and
It's
like
hard
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, like you know, the misfits, like Danzig said, like being
like-
a teenager's not easy.
Yeah, it's super hard. Like I was like,
What's that lyric from the Misfits song about being a teenager? Not dying. If you're a teenager, if you make it through your teenage years, how did I make it through my teenage years? He says that, Glenn Danzig, Misfits.
yeah, or like Adam's song, Blink-182. Like just like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's fucking hard.
it's hard.
And looking back on it, knowing what we know now, it doesn't seem so hard, but when you're there, knowing
So
what you know then, which is you're not emotionally equipped.
Yeah. And it's so hard to like, because when you're in high school, it's hard to see beyond that there's a life after. You know what I mean? I didn't even get to go to my prom. You know, like
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I got expelled before I could go, but I have a lot of regrets, dude. Like I never lived
Why didn't
lived
you
high
go to
school
your prom?
because I was expelled before I could go. And like, but I have a lot of regrets too.
Buster.
Is like I can't like. I wish I spent high school just like having fun with my friends and like chasing girls and like having a girlfriend, like breaking up, getting another. Like I wanted just a cliche high school life so bad that I would watch like Dazed and Confused like on repeat in my room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, grass is always greener. I don't think anyone ever had the perfect,
It's just a fantasy,
except
right?
for
It's-
maybe Tim.
I mean, Tim was like rapping at other high schools and shit. I'm like,
I don't know. It just seems like he's always fucking been able to just have fun.
well, so your high school life wasn't like that, like the fucking like Dazed and Confused. Pete, what was your high school life like?
Yeah, he surfed a lot. Pete surfed. I mean, he doesn't have a mic, so you can't just ask questions to people that. But yeah, like
I'm
dude,
just curious.
No,
dude.
like honestly, like my high school career would have seemed. I bet you so many people were like wished they could have been in my situation. You know, like my house
Really?
was like party central. I was
Yeah.
friends with everyone. I was selling weed. I was making music. I was like,
That's awesome.
had like, yeah, you say it's awesome, but like I was mentally tortured on a daily basis by like, well, also just kind of like numb and like just using a lot and, you know, very.
So in sobriety, has your lives progressed in a positive way?
Well, before we get to sobriety, I just want to say that like, I think that part of the reason why I wasn't able to just be happy in high school was it's the same reason why I wasn't able to be happy in Hypercrush after high school going for things, is because I felt I needed to like get good grades. I felt like I needed to like make money.
Cared about your grades?
Dude, I
didn't give a fuck about my grades.
I got straight A's one semester.
No way.
Straight up. In like
That's wild.
11th grade.
Wow.
I graduated with like a 3.6 grade point average.
Whoa.
Yeah, while selling weed and like partying every night and like just like
what's up.
cuz that was like a part of winning. Right? Like it wasn't just like be the best skater, which I definitely was, one of them. You know, have the hot chicks, sell the weed, make the music, but also get good grades, because that I wasn't
Then you're
a
untouchable.
fucking idiot to think that like it wasn't important to do good in school, which in retrospect it wasn't nearly as important as I thought it was. I thought that was going to be like my key to like success. So I like did it. I did whatever I needed to do to get good grades, which was a lot of cheating. You know what I mean? Like, I literally would cheat off Tim a lot, low key, because he was like really smart and he wouldn't study and still get, I'm like kind of stupid. I would like study forever and like I grind, I go hard, but I'm not like naturally like book smart, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think high school is ever what it seems on the other side of things, you know?
I feel like Hollywood's just implanted. I mean, like I base a lot of my life on movies.
Yeah, like
And my
Dazed and
movie-
Confused, like that's
It's not real.
no.
It's a fantasy.
Take it away.
So yeah, no, Dazed and Confused, loved it. Amazing movie. And he did a new one called Everybody Wants Some.
I've
Have
heard.
you seen that?
How new is it?
Bro, it's basically like Dazed and Confused Part 2. So Dazed and Confused it takes place in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like football.
Yeah.
This movie
Takes place in the 70s.
is the 70s and it's baseball. Which one?
Dazed and Confused.
Okay, so Dazed and Confused is the late 70s and it's football in high school. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody Wants Some is in the 80s and it's baseball and college.
It's the same director.
Yes. Richard Linklater.
When did this come
A
out?
couple years ago.
Wow.
It's literally
Was it in theaters?
amazing. Yeah, it's just as good as Dazed and Confused. In
I
some
gotta
ways
check that
better.
out.
Like just like slapping each other on the ass. Like the dude has like a blonde mustache and he's like, "What you got some? You got some dirt on your lip."
Yeah.
And they're all like unknown, like no name actors. Like one of the guys, they're listening to the Pink Floyd album Metal, which I have. It's amazing. It's really fucking.
They should
good.
do one for the 90s.
2016.
Like when
Well, that was kind of Boyhood.
Boyhood was my life, dog.
Yeah, that's kind of his.
Boyhood
90s
was
movie.
literally my life.
That's his 90s movie. It was your life.
Fuck.
What?
That's the same guy.
That's Richard Linklater.
He did
Come on, dog. Yeah, don't.
the same
If
guy.
you're,
did
are
Dazed
you a
and
true fan of
Confused.
cinema?
Don't fucking ask me that, Pat.
Well, I mean, come on. Richard Linklater is one of the greats. Yeah, he worked on that movie for like almost 15
yeah,
years,
it's the
bro.
same actors and
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also, Richard Linklater did a trilogy called Before Sunset.
yeah, with the
After
romance, and
Sunrise.
it's the same concept, same actors.
Yeah,
over
he
a few
actually,
years.
you know what? I think that it's funny because I'm working on a movie and actually Wickum's helping a lot. He's DPing and it's you know, you're helping out in any capacity that you can since it's an independent project and we're kind of figuring out how to make a movie as we make one. But I think that Richard Linklater could be like the biggest inspiration, even though I'm referencing like Natural Born Killers and Train Spotting and Fight Club, because it's very dialogue driven.
Yeah,
And Richard Linklater movies
those are my favorite types of movies. It's dialogue driven.
They're heavy. Like me and Noah are going through the script thinking this has way too much dialogue in it. But it's like that kind of a movie where it's like you're
It's not
talking.
plot driven. It's dialogue driven.
Yeah, I mean there is a plot, but it's a lot about.
Yeah.
You're talking a lot about like recovery, sobriety, you know, why it's music and just, you know, the relationship between two alcoholics, you know.
Dude, you never tag me in any of your posts, but
That's funny. It's funny. Sus is complaining I don't tag him, but like Ricky, low-key, has been with us for 4 years almost, and like I don't tag him nearly enough.
Dude, he tags you in everything. Sus. What are you
see,
talking about?
You gotta. You can't get greedy with the tags. I don't even know what you're referring to though.
the posts on your profile. It's okay. It's all
Does
good.
Ricky even use Instagram?
Are you logged into my Instagram?
I'm logging into everyone.
Tag yourself, and will you post one from tonight?
Yeah, I'll post one.
So you want to call that a wrap?
Yeah, we could wrap that one on. Definitely go see Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah, dude, I'm 100%.
That's the
That sounds
takeaway from
amazing.
this. And listen to No Effects of the Decline. And we can talk about it on the next podcast. I
Down.
sent you a text. It's
Yeah.
the greatest punk song ever written. or one of the greatest songs I've written.
Lit.
Drugs are good by no effects.
It's better than Drugs Are Good by No Effects.
All right, let's
Peace.
wrap.